into the grave. Suddenly the person wakes up and says, "Don't put me down, I'm still alive." How would you, what would be the reaction of the people there? I'm sure all of them would run for their lives, isn't it? Now imagine Jesus is doing something of that sort, and rightly so. It says here, the people were all afraid. The people were all afraid. Why? Because a dead man coming back to life was unheard of, was not the experience of the people until then. But here it is, Jesus is raising the dead man to life. Secondly, we see that Jesus, why did he do this action? This particular act Jesus performs because he was moved with compassion. Moved with compassion. Yesterday we celebrated the feast of Our Lady of Sorrows, September 15th. Now, the sorrow that the Lord himself experiences is much more. I'm sure as parents, you would have corrected your children, when they are small. How you would have probably even given them one slap, you would have beaten them also sometimes. Now when you, give them a whack, to whom does it pain more? To the child or to the parent who is giving the whack? I also received a few whacks from my dad. And every time, whenever we do something and we get we get a beating, after some time, Dad used to again, call us and, put his hands around us and explain to us, tell us why whatever we did was wrong and it deserved a punishment. Not because he loved the punishment, but because he wanted us to learn what it was. So he would always say, to punish you is actually more difficult for me. In other words, when God sees us suffering, it is actually causing him greater suffering. If we as parents suffer because of the pain that our children are experiencing, imagine how much more pain the Lord himself would suffer when he sees his children experiencing pain. That is the reason why Jesus was moved with compassion. It's not pity. Pity is ayo like that. But then compassion, meaning that he was, let's say, propelled to do something about it. So that's the very important aspect that we, all of us, should be able to understand. Because when we suffer, it's not that the Lord does not know our suffering. In fact, he suffers more than us, when he sees his beloved children suffer. And therefore, the Lord is always moved to action. So he is compelled. In other words, his inner self compels him to do something. That's the second aspect. The third aspect here, the Lord Jesus performs or does actions beyond our imagination. He's not somebody who is not able to rise up to the expectations. The Lord is someone who goes beyond our expectations. Why? Because he is the all-powerful, the almighty, the everlasting, the supreme. There is no one who is greater than him. There is no one who is more capable than him. Absolutely not. And therefore, whatever the Lord can do is always beyond our imagination. We might expect, Lord, do this for me. No, do this for me. I'm sure many come to the shrine because of some particular intention. Could be whatever the intention. So therefore you might say, okay, Lord, or Saint Anthony, 9 weeks I will come, or 9 Tuesdays I will come, or 9 months I will come. Something like that you might say. And you might want something. Sometimes, many times, yes, your prayers are answered. But sometimes when the prayers seem to be not answered, is it that your prayers have been in vain? Certainly not. I believe the Lord is working in ways beyond our comprehension. We are expecting something, but the Lord gives us much more than that. And at that particular moment, we are not able to understand that extra. And therefore we feel the Lord has not heard my prayer. But in reality, the Lord has heard much more than our prayer. And He has already given us whatever we are asking, but then He has given us much more. And because He has given us so much more, we are not able to actually understand as to how much more the Lord has given to us. All those people who were gathered there around this widow, it says there were many people from the town, because he, the man who had died, was the only son of the widow. And all those people must have been there to express words of comfort. So they must have expected Jesus and His disciples also to express words of comfort. But the Lord, not only does He express words of comfort, He performs an action of raising this man from the dead, which is much beyond the imagination or the expectation or the comprehension of those people gathered there. This is how the Lord deals with anyone, especially His beloved children. So therefore, when we approach the Lord, undoubtedly the Lord is always moved with compassion. And especially if we are suffering with something or the other, certainly, no doubt about it, the Lord is moved with compassion. And He does things beyond our imagination, so much that we are not even able to understand probably fully the working of the Lord. And at such times, for us to be able to surrender ourselves to the Lord and say, Lord, let your will be done. I think that is the best that we can do in those situations. So when we are struggling, when we are suffering with something or the other, while we surrender all those problems or all those anxieties to the Lord, our only prayer at the end of it should be, Lord, let your will be done. And by all means, 100% certainty, the Lord will do something. And when He does things even beyond our imagination. And then we can probably ask the Lord for greater understanding, for greater clarity, so that we will be able to appreciate and we'll be able to see the working of the Lord and thereby glorify Him. Asking the Lord for these graces, we shall now continue with this Eucharistic